Hello, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to talk about the power of race and who we are as racial people. And I think that is extremely important to understand your own race and to understand the set of values that comes with your own race. Now, how did race come about? From a mental health point of view, from a sociological point of view, it really came about with culture. Culture sets in certain values, and the value of being white is much more superior. Literature enforces that. Even Hollywood enforces that. Commercials enforces that. So we are all born thinking that the race white is superior, and it's actually internalized in us. And what I find really interesting, and this is supported by research, that the white race doesn't even understand that they carry the white race, that they are white. And this for me is super dangerous, because if you don't understand your racial identity as white, then you don't understand the power that the white race has. Now, when I say white, if I go to United States, maybe I'm not white enough, I'm an Arab, and yes, there is discrimination. But when I am in my country, I am white, and there is power to that, to my racial identity. Now, if I go to the Far East, I am white, and there's power to that. So understanding my racial identity is also respecting another racial identity. For example, we have been brought up that the black race is less than. It's ingrained in us as children, maybe directly or indirectly. We've been socialized that the white race is superior. It's more smarter, intellectually able to articulate better, to think better, and all sorts of documents supports that. Even when it comes to science, most of the research is on white people, not on any other race. So as we grow in our family, even if we have an extended family, we are praised on how white we are. The whiter, the better, in our own culture. So it's ingrained in us that if you have certain features, you have a higher status. If you look like Asian, if your color very dark, you have a less of a status. This comes with a set of humongous values as we were growing up. Now, to understand your culture and how we internalized the superiority of being white is extremely important, because then we could understand the white power and the power we have as a white race, and how we don't understand it and we don't know how it acts out in place. For example, if you apply for a job and a black person applies for a job, most likely you're gonna get the job. Why? Because of your race. You need to understand that power. If you're gonna walk down the street, maybe nobody's gonna see you as a threat. But if a black person walks down the street, maybe a woman would think, he's black, he may rape me. Or hold her bag close to her body, that he may be a thief. All of this is really ingrained in us by our culture. And we may intellectualize and believe that we don't believe in racism, and maybe you really don't. But it's so internalized that psychologically we act it out at a deeper, subconsciously way. And that's where the danger lies. The danger lies is when you don't understand your own racial identity that comes with a set of values. Only when you begin to understand your racial identity do you begin to be much more aware of how to act and react and how to be with others, particularly if they come from a different racial background. And this is extremely important to internalize. Now, research has shown that about 75% or 80% of white people don't even know that they have a color at all. This says that they're living a life of power, enjoying it, and they don't need to know their racial colors because they're white. They've got that set of power. Why should they identify their racial group? Because they are the power. And that's what's called white supremacy. They have better jobs, better education, they have more money. And to know that privilege and the privilege you have as a white person is also to understand the power of being black, is to be able to wear their shoes because their color, when they walk into the room, you see it. You can't say, I can't see it and I treat everybody as equal. You can't say that. When a black person walks in, you see that. You've got to stop and internalize and say, there's a black person. I need to be more aware of what I was taught and what my family taught me or my culture taught me. And I must treat this person with lots of dignity and respect. And sometimes we try so hard to treat people from a different racial background, which is Asian or black, with dignity and respect. But it's so ingrained in us that when we're working as a group, for example, we tend to have the black person work more. Notice that as you're working in a group, when you're sitting in a group and the meeting has finished, it's allocated for the black person to turn off the light. There's the silence of having the black do more work. Notice of this deep ingrained subculture, the culture that has ingrained it in us. Notice these traits and behavior. If you really want to stand with the black community today, if you really want to respect the black community, you need to understand your own race and the power it has. So you could go out and be a different person, more human, more aware, not act on the basis of impulse or internalization or revisit your own racial values. Understand your own racial values so that you don't fall into it, particularly if it looks down on the black race. Hope I really made a lot of sense. What's happening right now to America, I am really happy and excited because I hope that this is a turning point not only in one nation or one country. I hope it's a turning point for all of us, for all of humanity, to change our view and perspective. We are not superior because of our skin color, but we need to understand the power of skin color and the power we don't have or have because of our skin color and facial features. I hope that this made sense, and I'll probably end it there. Thank you so much for listening till the end of this clip. Thank you.